Hello everybody, Mike Tannic back here with more Hearts of Iron 4, the Ottoman Empire with the lovely Great War mods. So, what I want to accomplish for this episode is to continue to get our forces and general state of being prepped for a long, protracted war. In the last episode, we did set up some basic ideas of what I would like to have happen as far as getting ready for World War One and kind of our initial moves going into it. So again, we are prepping to attack, Kuwait here. We got the Russian bordermans. Egypt we're still kind of preparing for, and Romania we're still kind of preparing for. So we really can't do much else in that department until we get more divisions, which we are training right now. But what I kind of want to do is first spend this political power that we have. Now, there are no decisions that I really want to do anything with. So what we're going to do is start to go down the air power. Well, I guess the air power focus tree as well as air power techs. Now, at some point, I did get us a aircraft production designer, the light aircraft, which is good because that's going to help us with 10% air research time and also increase the give us some buffs on our light aircrafts, our fighters and carrier fighters. So that's good. That's set up. Now, Chief of the Air Force, I mean, we don't really need that just yet. But what I do want to do is look at our political advisors here. See who we have. Right now we have the backroom backstabber. We got the factory construction speeds and the political power gain. None of the other guys here they're not giving me a warm and fuzzy. I don't really care about any of these, and we don't need it either. We don't need to convert civilian to military factories yet. And I'm hoping to be able to avoid that. So let us go ahead and add a ship designer for now. What I'm really looking for is the naval research speed. And over here we have the coastal defense fleet designer. But that's really going to take a chunk out of our max range. And I don't want to do that because even though it's just the Mediterranean that we have to cover right now, that is a lot of ground to cover, and I don't want our ships to be hamstrung by that. So we're going to go with naval research speed to get that political power spent. Next, we just completed a military factory, and here's what our equipment situation looks like right now. We do have 3 factories going into the scout planes, and the rest of this is looking kind of okay for now. Let me look at our logistics. Infantry equipment, we have a ton of. That is the majority of what we confiscated from the Balkan League War. Support equipment is where we are really hurting, especially since we just added all those support companies to our infantry divisions. So the problem here is that we got 8 factories going into it, but most of them are exploded. So the next thing I want to deal with here is prioritizing our repairs, because the resistance fighters really blew up a lot of factories during the war because we couldn't get up there to garrison. So what I'm going to do is prioritize the repair of civilian factories first so that we can then quickly repair the rest. So we're not here all day up until the war kicks off, waiting for, one factory line at a time to be producing. So we're going to get these done. And these should repair pretty quickly. August 16th. Well, no matter. We're going to do it. So actually, let's get this one done first, since it's almost there. 1 August. That's more like it. All right, back to it. So, what are we missing? Motorized equipment. That is what we're missing. So, in this mod, motorized, what they mean by motorized early on, are horse-drawn vehicles. And it took me a while to kind of figure that one out. Because I was like, what are you talking about? I haven't even researched motorized yet, you jerks. So let's take one off of artillery. And I don't really want to... Well, I guess for now I can spare one off of infantry equipment since we have a glut of it. And start to get our motorized, also known as horse-drawn vehicles, built up. So that's fine. And let's see, what is this here? Steel, we can live without 2 steel. But what we can do is stop trading wood, and that will give us a factory pack because we captured a ton of wood from the Balkan League states. So that's looking much better. Now, do we have... Yes, we do. Finally, we have 2 factory lines going at once. Slow as heck, but hey, I'll take it for now. And just kind of looking around here, making sure that, you know, everything is as it should be. What do we have down here? This is the Kuwait Task Force. Now, how are they looking? Okay, so the concern here is that these guys might be taking attrition because of the extremely low infrastructure down here, but that does not seem to be the case. In fact, they're doing really well on supply. Really well on supply. And we got the Baghdad naval base there too, which could help if we absolutely needed to do something about that. So what do the British have here? They have a Marine division, which is pretty weak. Actually, no, that's pretty strong. Yeah, and as expected, their infantry divisions are pretty plussed up, so we're not going to mess with that for now. What I would like to see is what the Egyptian divisions look like. So let's get this guy over here to have a quick peek. And also let's look at our line here. I'm looking for attrition anywhere along this line. And it looks like this is... Well, it says they're taking attrition, and it's because their supply is not all that. And I had a sneaking suspicion I might have to do something with the infrastructure here. So let's go ahead and deal with that now. So we'll put one additional infrastructure in Cert, however you want to say it. And we're going to bump that up a little higher, actually. So after we get some of these other factories repaired, we will build that. Because the attrition isn't terrible, but if I want to add, you know, 2 divisions to this line for, you know, 2 in each province, then yeah, we have to deal with that. Okay, so let's see what we're dealing with the Egyptians. I expect them to be garbage, and yes, they consist only of 2 infantry regiments. Ha, pathetic, guys, pathetic. Okay, I'm feeling a little bit better about that now. Yeah, Tunisia, we can't see. We can't see what those guys are doing. And that's fine. Okay. So our naval... I know we kind of messed a little bit with our naval status at the end of last episode. But I want to make sure that everything is going smoothly here. And we do have our training fleet, which is still filling up. Okay, that is going to help a lot. So we finished the dockyard expansion too. So, what was suggested to me next, and what I would like to do as well, is start going down the aviation effort tree here. Because I do really want to get every bonus we possibly can, as well as the additional air bases. That will help. So let's do this. And I will start to feel a lot better about our air situation. Because let's face it, it's much easier to build a formidable air force than it is a navy. And I want to have something besides just ground power. I mean, not that we're that powerful on the ground, but I don't want it to be... We need a second angle in warfare. So let's see. Now, we could put these 2 naval dockyards into submarines. However, do we want to start building a 3rd ship type? I'm thinking destroyers. We need to get our destroyer fleet up a little bit better than what it is, but are we about to research more improved destroyers before I commit to building them? Okay, and the answer is no. We're not about to, so I want to start producing destroyers, at least with a couple naval dockyards to get this moving along here. So I'll move you up. Give you another. Okay. And we still have one busted naval dockyard, and that's okay. I'm not too concerned about that now, but here we have a -6 shortage of steel, and that, unfortunately, has to be dealt with. That's more than I would like to have happen. So we are going to sacrifice the factory to get our additional steel and make sure that during this lull in the action, we are building at our max capacity. And here's the big concern for me, guys. The ground threat, you know, actually isn't as bad. What I'm more concerned about is the naval threats. Their ability to land divisions wherever and whenever they like. Like this division here who just refuses to leave. So I guess they just live there now. I mean, we are nothing but coastline. I mean, even down here in Yemen, we are nothing but coastline. So that is where the port defense units here are going to come in handy. As a matter of fact, I should probably be training more than one of these at a time. What are these guys short on? Motorized. Horse-drawn vehicles. Okay, so since we're going to have trouble with that, I'm going to add another... maybe I should train 3 port defense at once, because we have a ton of infantry equipment. But you know what we don't have is manpower. We're at 235k, which, you know, for the amount of landmass that we have, you know, not counting the land that we just took on from the Balkan League War, but you would think we would have a whole hell of a lot bigger recruitable population than what we do. I'm actually kind of really bothered by that, but what can you do? So now what I would also like to start doing is some political jockeying. Now, I do desperately want to join the Central Powers. And we need world tension at 35%. And right now it's only at 28. So we are going to have to wait a little bit. But in the meantime, let us improve relations with the German Empire. Which, at the end of the day, may be entirely unnecessary. I just want to make sure that when the time comes, I can join their gang. Because I don't want to be left high and dry when the war starts, because then we're going to be caught in between Russia. We're going to be caught in between Russia, the UK, Italy, and then Austria-Hungary. And you know that if I somehow get left out in the cold here and end up at odds with the Central Powers, German divisions are going to flood through the Balkans, and there is little to nothing I can do about that. So, anyway, back to reorganizing. So our Green Army here, the Homeland North Army, they have successfully suppressed all the resistance here, it looks like. Yeah, the resistance is done. So we can start to do other things with these guys now. Now, because they are the Homeland Army, I do want to keep them here in Greece, or at least as many of them as possible. So I'm going to do that, but we also need 2 divisions down here to the Army of Tripoli to fill in the gaps that we have in the lines here. I think, what do we need? We got... oh, actually, we might need 3. Yeah, we're going to need 3 more divisions, so I miscounted there. So let's take... I guess we can take a cavalry division and send you off. So that's looking good. I'm getting pretty happy with that. We have 10 divisions. Now, Austria-Hungary, I don't worry about. So for now, what I'm going to do with these guys is put them here on this border. And another thing that we're going to have to do is really watch over here, because we're still not sure which way Italy is going to go in this conflict. They likely are not going to join the Central Powers. I was hoping to be able to have a little more conditions when we sign the peace deal to kind of get them over to our side, but I just don't think that's going to happen. And I considered doing a coup to try to get them over onto the authoritarian side, but you guys, if you look at this, in this mod, it costs 5 political power per day to do a boost party popularity, which to me is extremely excessive, but I'm sure the modders had a reason to do it that way. I just can't afford that. We're making what? 1.86 per day. We could get 2.86 per day if we stopped having a national focus. But that's just for a daily drift of 0.08. So imagine trying to keep that up over any amount of time. So political manipulation is not a viable option for us. And nor is it for any other country, really, outside of just improving relations and maybe some lesser political jockeying, like for Romania. Again, 5 political power per day for a daily drift of 0.08. I don't know who can afford that. And perhaps there is a national focus or a tech in this mod that can get us more political power per day, but I just don't see it happening. Okay, so let's study the Russian front here a little better. First, what do their divisions look like? Also absolute garbage. Looks like their main infantry divisions, they only have 4 infantry regiments, no support of any kind. And I want to make sure that's true of all these divisions because I don't know how many division types they have. Okay, here they have an actual infantry division mixed in with their garbage ones. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to be up against a couple different division types, which is disheartening because they have, well, they have a whole lot more than we do. As far as manpower goes. So we're going to have to play that one really smart. And it does look like the British are building up here, which is good. That's what I want. As a matter of fact, finally. I will deal with that in a minute. As a matter of fact, if we have the time to do so, I would really, really like to just build some basic fortifications here. That way, if they do choose to attack one or both ways, we can grind them down, counterattack, and knock them the heck out of Kuwait. Obviously, again, not a priority. Let's see. Okay, we're still good. Now, as we repair these civilian factories, we are able to make use of them. Thank God. So, that's dealt with for now. New infantry division. Excellent. We are going to get a training army here. And get them up to experience level 3. So let me make sure that this is good. This is going to be named Train. Or I'm sorry, Training. And they do not need a commander. So let's see how are my port defense units coming? Okay, that's right. So they only have an engineer support company, and I hope that's going to be enough. It's going to be kind of a roll of the dice, and a lot of that hinges on what our max entrenchment is and how big of the naval force that's invading. Because we could also, you know, build some coastal fortifications along these lines, which wouldn't... They only cost 900 production points. Not bad, but again, that's kind of a luxury at this point. The only places I know for sure that I want to build coastal defense is here on the western coast of the Balkans and Greece. Because that is where the Italians just have, you know, they can land all day long and do whatever the heck they want. So we're going to make sure that that's defended. Possibly down here in Rhodes or some of these low-hanging fruits. Definitely in Crete, we're going to put some coastal defense forts. Simply because I can't just go reinforce them. Likely what's going to happen is once the units that are there are in place, they're going to be on their own because I will not have the Navy to go up against the Italians and especially the British and everyone else. Okay, so we have yet another... Oh no, this is port defense. Oh, we have a problem here. That's what's going on. We need to change this up. Edit. Let's edit their symbol. Let's see, is there anything kind of oceany or navy-like that they're defending a port? How about a unicorn? No, we're not going to give them the unicorn. Okay, I lied. They're getting the unicorn. That's just so they stand out so I don't accidentally, you know, turn them into something else. There are the unicorns now. Congratulations, guys. All right, you're going into the training army. What threw me off is that they're being labeled infantry division, which is fine. You know, I'm not going to be too concerned about that. But I just want to make sure that they're not... I'm not tasking them to, like, assault through the mountains here against the Russians by accident. And that's one way to do it. So, we are going to have some limited air power as well once the war kicks off. We have 19 scout planes. Now, the trick here is going to be putting them in a place where they will make the most difference without all getting shot up, because I have no doubt that there are... I mean, the Russians might even have more planes than us, so I don't want to put them up against a force that they're all going to get shot down after we spent so much time and agony getting these scout planes. Not to mention we have a severe shortage of air bases, I noticed. We could put them down here in Tripoli. I don't believe we have any... No, there's none in Iraq. None in Asia Minor, so we might want to consider building an air base either... Because I do want to take Egypt out, so I would like to have some air power to make that happen as well. So we might end up building an air base here to support our upcoming offensive against Egypt. First flight across Mediterranean Sea. Today, the locals of Bizerte, Tunisia, noticed a strange flying object, which was revealed to be Roland Garros, a French professional pilot in his Morane Saulnier monoplane. This journey marks the first crossing of the Mediterranean Sea by air, an astounding landmark for the young science of aviation. Local sailors were reportedly not impressed. Ha. Oh, yes. So what? It's a fad. Of course it is. So, speaking of air power, yeah, I want to go in here and knock out Egypt ASAP. If for no other reason than to unify our glorious empire here. Now, I get the feeling that we will have to move quickly, because what's going to happen as soon as the war kicks off is the British divisions are going to come up here and they are going to defend. And we may not be able to beat them back, but we can certainly beat back the Egyptian infantry brigades. So we will have to have a lightning type war, a blitzkrieg before it was invented type of deal. But of course, to do that, we need divisions, which is not happening nearly fast enough. Now, I do, since we have been producing them, how many armored cars do we have? We do have enough. We have 166 armored cars. That is enough for an armored car division, as the division template stands now. They need 120. So I would like to actually plus these up a little more. Yeah, this would make it a much more fleshed out division if I could add another armored car. And that way it's 180 armored cars per division. Obviously, we're not going to have a lot. But what I do want to have is at least enough armored cars for these divisions to actually make a difference. And I am going to add an artillery support company as well, because they're slow too. That's the other bit about armored cars, is they're no faster than infantry at this stage of the game. And yes, my friends, we do have the fighter, which we'll get to in a sec. So we're going to save that as is. And then we're going to train a division. And we're going to put them also here in Istanbul, Constantinople. Whichever one you want to call it, I'm not getting involved in that fight. Now, okay, we did get the early fighter. Awesome. We are approaching 1914, which is good for us for tech reasons, because a lot of these, the tech tiers here are start in 1914. Unfortunately, none of them are in industry and engineering. Now, air doctrine. Air doctrine. I would like to keep focusing on air, but as you can see, we're kind of hosed here. There's not a lot we can do until 1915, and that's not a penalty I'm willing to eat. But 1914, we can up our artillery. What else can we do? We can do gas masks. That only takes 133 days. And we have the boost on it, so I may not do that. Ooh, motorized ambulance. Recovery rates. That would be really nice. However, what I think I'm going to do is the artillery. It's still early, but I want to get a jump on that so we can start producing it earlier and get them out to our units. I may regret that move. Who knows? Okay, so right, the division designs. There is a lot more. I would love to add a maintenance company to the armored car divisions for the purposes of keeping them on the road better, because I mean the armored car, the reliability is awful. Yeah, where's the reliability here? Yeah, well, whatever it is, it's bad. I remember that, and they break down all the time, so I'm not going to be too pleased with that. I can already tell that I might be doing this for all this agony over armored car divisions, and it turns out they are complete garbage. And what is holding up our divisions here? And that is going to be infantry equipment, or support equipment, and horse-drawn. Yeah, that's what's really killing us. Oh boy, I hate to do this again. I'm really uncomfortable with taking this down, but we are going to have to put more into support equipment, I fear. Yeah, we are going to have to do that. And why are we so short on steel? Who stopped delivering? Huh. All right, I will do one more factory. We don't need two. And our aluminum situation is in the tank, so I'm going to have to bite the bullet again, give up the factories, just to keep our production flowing at max capacity. Okay, excellent. We now have a 15% research bonus for air doctrine, so we will start going down that path as soon as possible. Now, what I want to do here is before we get down, before we're able to do the next tier of the armament efforts and construction efforts, we have to get the airfield expansion done. Now, we were just talking about how we're short on airfields, and this is going to add 3. So we're going to go down that that focus. And down here we get 3 more, and down here we get 3 more. So I'm happy with that. It shouldn't take more than maybe a level 1 or level 2 airbase for the places that we need our planes, because we're not going to have that many, at least at first. So, yeah, we still cannot do extensive construction, unfortunately. So what we are going to do, let's add, for now, or not for now, we only got 1 guy, so let's do our close air support specialist, because we do not have anything else to spend our political power on at the moment. Now, how are we doing in this department? Okay, we are repairing factories, and we are getting that infrastructure done, which is fantastic. So after that's done, before we start building these entrenchments throughout Africa and Iraq, we need more military factories. It's just, we're not going to get by without them. So add one here throughout Asia Minor. I don't want to build them too close to any borders, because you guys saw how well I can defend my borders, which is not well at all. And wow, only 10% infrastructure there. Wow, what's going on, Ottomans? You guys have just been ignoring this place the whole time. And 1 dead center here, because we need production. Oh, God, our military production is just terrible right now. And a lot of it is because we did just plus up our divisions, which is fine. I'm not upset about that. It's just that we have to, we have a lot of building to do and not a lot of time to do it in. See, we're only making 2.43 support equipment a day. And we're about to be caught up on artillery. So here's what I would like to do. We'll start to draw down the artillery production. Put 1 more into support equipment. Take one more down out of here and put it into horse-drawn vehicles. I really hate doing this. I hate doing it this way, but guys, desperate times. Certainly desperate times. Now, I'm starting to feel a little more comfortable. Why are you guys not covering? Are you grouped up somewhere? Or do we still not? Yeah, that's the problem. You don't need to be here. You need to be down here. I know we have enough units to cover, or I thought we had enough units to cover every single province here. How did I mess the count up so badly? You know what it was. I don't think I counted all of these up here. So that's fine. So we are going to need still one more division to completely gap this line. All right. And yeah, we are suffering attrition. Ooh, doggy. Okay. Yep. Definitely. We are going to have to put the infrastructure up. One more. Looks like in Tripolitania as well, right? Am I right? Yeah. We're going to need another infrastructure here in Tripolitania. So let's actually prioritize that one after our infrastructure insert, just so we can stop having attrition, because I do not want that. Excellent. Early support weapons 2. All right, a lot of defense, a lot of breakthrough. I am happy with that. So let's do, since we just got the bonus for air doctrine, I would like to do that now and get that started. That is plus 5% air superiority and plus 5% agility for our fighters. Very useful. So that is how we're gonna. Okay. Yeah, this line here, it will hold. We're just gonna need a lot more, a little bit more infrastructure to make sure that these guys aren't starving. They're gonna have their cups of tea and, well, Turkish coffee. If you ever had Turkish coffee, it's excellent. Well, they're gonna have a lot of it. Be sitting here watching the poor British and French starving, begging for water and just a little bit of Turkish coffee and Turkish delight. They're not going to get any of it because we are hanging on to North Africa. So I'm pleased somewhat with the progress that we've made today on this episode. Please, guys, I could use all the input that you can spare. Any advice that you guys have, any pointers to get us better prepared for the war, I will do my very best to implement it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please do consider subscribing if you enjoyed, and I will see you next time on the battlefield. Bye-bye.